Today, I'd like to talk about friends. Why do they get fewer as you get older? Think back to your best friends in high school. What made you become friends in the first place? And how did it all start? Maybe it's because you sat next to each other on the first day of school, started talking, and just decided you were a perfect match. So you became friends, spent time together at recess and after school. Or maybe you were both on the soccer team, and a friendship developed when the team won or lost, or just when you were practicing under the all-seeing eye of an evil coach. You've all been in similar situations and bonded because you understood each other's feelings. You had the same ones. What brought you together and bonded you in friendship was a shared experience. You were in the same situation together. You understood each other. You rejoiced over each other's successes and shed tears over each other's failures. Slowly, it created a strong bond. But now, years later, what you had in common is gone. Those ties are breaking or have already broken. Interests have become more diverse. Passion has waned, and that common thread that connected you has long since frayed. We start making friends in junior high school. Gradually, they become more and more. The circle of communication expands and reaches a plateau in 25 to 30 years. After this mark, connections start to melt away and the number of friends decreases by an average of 38%. Let's try to understand why this happens and how you can cope with this problem. How friendships change as we grow up. When we are children, we make friends mostly with kids from class or neighbors. At this time, there are still no special interests, heartfelt conversations, or intimacy. Children share games and activities, learn to empathize with others, and come together for a common goal. During adolescence, ages 13 to 19, we keep some of the friends from our school years and make new ones. At this time, close peers partially replace our parents. There is mental closeness and mutual support. We learn to open up to another person, trust him, and understand what he wants. Friendship also prepares teenagers to create a couple. When we are young, 19 to 30 years old, social ties reach their peak. We lose some friends, but the broken contacts are more than replenished with new ones. Fellow students, first colleagues, partners, their friends and acquaintances. The circle of communication is wide and varied. And then, after 30 years, our connections slowly begin to evaporate. Teenagers spend 29% of their waking hours with friends, and in middle age that figure drops to a measly 7%. By age 65, 12 to 22% of people are without any friends at all. And while retirees have much more time to communicate, many simply have no one to socialize with anymore. Old connections have been lost, and it is difficult to make new ones. Why friends are lost as we age. There are several reasons why adults stop actively making new contacts and lose friendships. 1. The needs and goals of socializing change. Adolescents and young adults feel like they will be around forever. At this time, gathering information about the world is a priority, and a variety of social contacts are best suited for this purpose. Young people communicate with everyone in a row, easily make acquaintances, and seek peers. With age, the picture changes. People realize that life is finite and it would be necessary to spend it on something pleasant. The number of friends begins to decline. Only those who provide emotional closeness and warmth remain. The rest are ruthlessly expelled from the circle of communication. 2. Priorities shift to the family. At first, marriage expands the circle of communication. People get closer to friends and relatives of the spouses. Over time, however, priorities shift to the family. The spouse provides a person with what he used to get from friends, becomes a partner in entertainment, satisfies emotional needs, gives support and comfort, helps morally and physically. With the birth of children, this effect only increases. A small child takes a lot of time, the circle of interests changes a lot, especially if compared to childless friends. Often people close themselves off to the family, and friendships fall away. 3. There is no time for socializing. Like marriage, going out to work can increase the number of friends. People often socialize with those who are like them in some ways, share a view of the world, have similar interests and social status. The probability of meeting such a person at work is quite high. At the same time, old friends gradually disappear due to lack of time and the growing gap in interests and status. 4. Life circumstances get in the way. In 68% of cases, middle-aged friendships end accidentally, due to circumstances such as moving away. Only 25% of people intentionally end a relationship, usually because of betrayal. These circumstances also include accidents, the death of a sibling, spouse, or child. After traumatic events, ties with friends may weaken due to grief and unwillingness to maintain contact. A series of circumstances and lack of time leave us without close friends. This is natural, but there is nothing good in it. After all, friendship is necessary for a person no less than a healthy sleep and sports. 5. Expectations and demands. As we age, we have higher expectations of our friends. We begin to value deeper and more meaningful relationships, so we sometimes break up with those who do not meet our expectations. Possible fatigue from superficial dating can also lead to a smaller social circle. Just going out for a drink with a buddy isn't as interesting anymore. 6. Loss of loved ones. Unfortunately, as we age, many face the loss of loved ones, which can affect our current emotional state and willingness to be socially active. The bitterness of loss can cause a person to become less open to new acquaintances and friendships. 7. Friends of interest. When we are young, friends are often chosen based on proximity. We socialize with those who are close to us. As we get older, our preferences change and we start looking for friends who share similar interests and values. This can lead to old acquaintances being lost amidst new relationships. 8. Social fatigue. Friendships take time and energy, and as we age, not everyone has the energy to do so. Fatigue can lead to people preferring to spend time alone, choosing quieter and more solitary ways to recuperate than active socializing. 9. Lifestyle changes. Yes, and lifestyle changes over the years. Some people start exercising, taking charge of their health, or adopting a more conscious lifestyle, which can alienate them from their former social circle that doesn't share their new hobbies and interests. 10. Psychological readiness. Finally, as people age, many become more critical and less trusting. Experiences of past disappointments in friendships or misunderstandings can make it difficult to make new acquaintances. The psychological willingness to open up to others becomes an important aspect of friendship, and if this level of willingness is reduced, new relationships are more difficult to form. Why friendship is needed at any age. From childhood, friendships determine our health and well-being. Children and teens who have friends are more interested in learning and do better in school subjects than those who are alone. Emotional closeness with peers increases self-confidence and reduces the risk of depression. In middle age, friendships still mean a lot to a person. And although relationships with a spouse influence psychological health more strongly, the connection with friends comes right after them and turns out to be more important than communication with relatives. In old age, close relationships and social support help to preserve cognitive functions, while social isolation, on the contrary, worsens health and quality of life. This was confirmed by the Grant Study, a 75-year large-scale study of the lives of more than 700 men from different social classes, trying to understand what really makes people happy and healthy. It turned out that those with strong ties to family, friends, and their community lived happier lives and retained good health and memory longer than those who were alone or dissatisfied with their relationships. Try not to lose friends. Loneliness kills. How not to be left alone. The only way to improve something in any area of life is to take the time to do it. And friendship is no exception. Maintain old relationships. Friendships are not static. They are formed, maintained, and dissolved. At any point in life, the closeness between people can grow, wane, or stay the same, and what level your relationship will be at depends on your investment. Meet with friends, call them, take an interest in their lives. Try doing some activity together that is important to both of you. For example, run together in the mornings, go to the movies on weekends, do something good, or just once a week get together for a cup of coffee. But no skipping. Change the environment so that new connections can emerge. The social convoy theory states that throughout our lives we are accompanied by a group of people who change according to circumstances. Each change in environment can give you new friends in the long run. Start a new hobby. Sign up for a workshop. Go to a group class at the gym. Find a community of interest in your city. You can make a friend at any age, and the older you get, the more meaningful and deeper the new relationship will be.